Good morning YouTube, it's Obsidian Anubis here, and I'm here with a different sort of video for you guys. So this is not a battle report, this is what I'm calling a brush and fluff video. So in these videos I will be talking about projects I'm currently working on, so painting wise, or I'm very interested in Warhammer for the fluff or for the kind of mythology behind it. So I may do videos about certain aspects of different campaigns or stuff like that. So I kind of just made this brush and fluff overall type of videos for kind of just like what's going on back home for me. So I thought I'd start this first one out as a nice big surprise. So I don't know if any of you have watched my video battle reports, which you probably have if you're watching this, then you see that I play Empire. Well, Empire was actually my newest army. I play Lizardmen, which my opponent usually uses, so that's why you don't usually see me playing them. But that's my second army, and my first army, which is the oldest army, which is also my biggest army, is actually Orcs and Goblins. So I know there's a lot of Orc and Goblin players, at least videos. So I may, I mean, I'm sure I'll change up occasionally from now and then from Empire and put up Orcs and Goblins, but yeah, anyways, that aside, this video is the first in a line of the Russian fluff, and I thought I'd start off big. So the reason why I mentioned Orcs and Goblins is because this is actually an Orc and Goblin model. It's a model which I recently purchased and decided to, paint up and take pictures as I went and, make a video for, but it's actually a model that I never thought I would like. When it first came out a couple years ago, I'm like, GW is just trying to make bigger models for people to buy. Like the model itself isn't all that great, but after watching quite a few of the battle reports online, if you guys watch Chai Hammer or Wog Hammer, both of them actually, and so with Joe Hammer, all of them have these models, and they've done pretty good. So I finally broke down and decided to buy it, and then start working on it. So what is that model I'm talking about? You guys probably already guessed it. The Arachnarok, or Gargantula by 9th edition. So yep, I bought myself up a Gargantua and started trying to paint that together. So if you've listened to my kind of themed lists for the battle reports, for the Empire I have a couple themes. For the Lisbon I have a couple themes, and for the Orcs and Goblins I have a couple themes. The army which I'm currently working on right now, which is probably going to be the army I'm taking to a tournament later this summer, is a desert themed Orcs and Goblin list. So it's kind of like Savage Orcs and Spider Goblins, but instead of Forest Goblins, they're Desert Goblins. So that's kind of the theme behind this list. So I'm going with a very deserty theme. So I looked at quite a few, desert pictures to kind of figure out how I wanted to paint them. And yeah, so let's go ahead and jump into it. So I don't have pictures of what it looks like before it's put together. I mean, it looks like it bags of what's gray because it's plastic. So here's the first picture I took. So this is the base. So I decided that instead of just doing normal wood color for wood, I wanted to kind of make it look like it was like kind of like the bleached wood that you see like in deserts, where it's kind of been white out. So I did a kind of a dual layer where I did the first coat with Rakarth flesh, and then stained it with Agarth Earthshade, and then did a dry brush with ceramite white. And I actually did that twice just to kind of make it look like it's been bleached, because I really wanted it to look more desert themed. You can see that I've also added some corkboard there. When I was putting the spider's legs on, by the way, that model is not easy to put together, but when I was putting its legs together, I ended up not putting them directly the way they should have been, so I needed to widen the base out where the two legs are going to stand, so I ended up putting some corkboard there to make it look like both some rocks and that, it has a little bit wider stance. You can see that I've already added some grass and some base material, some sand to the board. I did paint some of the sand. You can also see that I've added some the Savage Orc kind of arrows just there on the side. Thought that just to get a little nice touch. Another sorry about the picture that is on the side. You notice that I do have the goblins in there, and you notice that there's also a couple other green spots. So because of the way I designed the spider and the way I painted it, because I'm painting all the wood more or less white. I didn't want to also make the spider webs white because white on white is hard to see. So I decided to make my spider webs kind of more of this like icky green color. So it's a half and half mixture of scar snick green and skull screaming skull. So it's a half and half mixture of that, which kind of gave this kind of yicky green snot color, which I thought turned out quite well. So here's another picture, a different angle. You can kind of see this one's more lined better. So I like the way. I think it turned out pretty well so far. So here's what the actual spider looks like before I put the Howdow Crew on it. So I just wanted to have it, like I said, so I looked in pictures and, most spiders will in the desert are more or less brown. So I went with brown as my theme. So I just used, the primary color I used was Zanduri Dust. So I think I did 2 base coats of Zanduri Dust and then did Agarth Shade and then did a dry brush of Screaming Skull followed by Rekarth Flesh. I wanted to at least have some standout points, so I painted like all the spikes and the crevices between the legs and the eyes all red. So the red, I wanted to make it a little bit more glossier, but it didn't work out as well as I would have liked. But I used Mephisto red, a couple layers, and then I layered on top of that Kydor red base, which is actually a P3 paint, and then I highlighted just with a little bit with the Troll Slayer orange. And so kind of layered those together to make it. And then I also had, Rhinox brown for the claws and for the talons to kind of make it look a little bit darker. But I like the overall the spider came out. So for the underbelly of the spider, here's what it looks like. It's similar coloring, but instead of washing with Agarth Earthshade, I dry brushed, I washed with the Rickland Flesh Shade to kind of give it a little bit more of a I don't know, organic feel than I guess chitness. And then I dry brushed with the what was it called? The Rigard Flesh again, and kind of painted all the spiders. So all the kind of mini spiders I painted with the Rhinox hide brown. But I think it turned out pretty well. I think I like the way it kind of made it, and it was kind of a deserty themed. So here's what it looks like on its base. I think I glued it down at this point. So then for the Howdow Crew, like I said, I wanted to make the wood instead of just wood color because brown on top of a brown spider would make it more or less dull. So I went with kind of that more bleach again. So I did Rickarth Flesh, washed it with Agarth Earthshade, and then dry brushed with the Cimmeric White, and I think it turned out really well. And then you can see all the spider webs. Again, I did the half and half mixture of the Snarfnik Green and Screaming Skull, and so it kind of gave this nice yicky kind of green color. So I think it turned out really well. For the arrows, I also did red, same with the Savage Orcs. Again, just kind of tying all the colors in together. And then like I said, for most of the mini spiders, I painted them Rhinox hide and then did some highlights or dry brushed with Scream Skull and then did some highlights with some of the Mephisto red for most of them. So this is what the Hideout Crew looks like without the crew and then with the crew. So you can see that they look pretty well. For the most part, I used either white, red, and black for the feathers, mostly red, just kind of tying the theme in together. And this ties in with the rest of my desert theme armies. Kind of most of it's kind of more or less kind of plain colors, except for the red. The red's kind of like the only color. So wherever these goblins and orcs are from, apparently all the birds are red, and that's what they hunt is the red birds. So this is what the base looks like after I finished it. So I've added some spiders. So that came in the kit. So most of the spiders, like I said, are the same basic design. It's Rhinox hide, dry brushed with Screaming Skull. And then for these ones, I tried to also highlight with the Cimmeric White, kind of just on the tops of the legs. And then instead of just doing Mephisto red, I did a variety of colors. So you can see I did a blue spider, I did a purple spider, I did the orange spider, just trying to make them a little bit different and kind of put them in places that you'd be able to see. So this is what the spider looks like once it's on top of the base with some of the other finished spiders. As well, you can see that the Howdaw Crew now has its thing in the back that holds it, the guy who's loading the catapult stands on. So here's a side view. So I know that's probably not the way it's supposed to be. I think this spider which is holding the catapult is supposed to be on the bottom of the howdah. But like I said, this model was not easy to put together, and I think they definitely need to add better diagrams when they, you know, for putting this model together. So it didn't work out the way it probably should have been, but I kind of like this. Well, it looks like the spider's like clinging on to the bottom level of the howdah, just like trying to pull it back with all its might to before it launches. And then here is a final picture. It's a little blurry, sorry about that, with some of the goblins. And then here's the side view with, you can see a little bit better. I turned, I think, my camera flash on, so got a better picture. So you can see what it looks like with all the goblins on it. But overall, I'm happy with the way it turned out. I think it definitely fits the theme, and although it's not super colorful, I think it's more natural looking maybe. Because I mean, I don't know where you guys live, but where I live, most of the spiders I see are brown. Usually they're darker brown, but I wanted to kind of lighten them up a little bit. But I think it came out very nicely. So I've been thinking of a name for this spider, for the Gargantua. And if you guys have ever seen Warhammer's uh, battles, I think his is called the B-Rock, and his was named by Chaihammer, who has the A-Rock, which is, by the way, a beautifully painted spider. Both those spiders are beautifully painted, by the way. So I was thinking I'd call this the spider the Devil of the Desert, and for short, it's called the Double D Rock. So yeah, that's all I have for this video. Is like I said, I just wanted to kind of share my projects and what I've been working on. So if you guys could, I don't know, like and subscribe, that would always be appreciated. Um, if you want to see more videos of these, let me know in the comment section. I mean, I probably won't do these as often as I do the battle reports, but I mean, if I get no feedback and no one seems interested, then I'll probably stop. So I mean, if you guys could, if you want to see more videos like this, please, like and then maybe leave a comment saying, just so I know people are actually watching this. But other than that, I think that's all I have here. If you guys have any questions or comments, please feel free to leave them or write them on, contact me on the Ninth Age forum. Other than that, hopefully this bad boy will, or bad girl probably, will see some action soon. But yeah, yeah, that's it. So have a good day, you guys, and talk to you later. Bye.